When it comes to self-help, you want to get right to the point. The workbook from author Alicia Puzzany, Emotional Strength Explained, can help you see results quickly instead of overthinking or operating from a naive, unsure, or people-pleasing state where you look for immediate gratification. With the help of this workbook, you can become stronger emotionally. Whether you're embarking on something new or working through things with yourself or others, understanding what makes you, you is the crucial first step in coming out on top. Your emotions don't have to control your life. You can learn a better way. With this workbook, you'll work toward a stronger, more confident, less needy you. It's for adolescents, teenagers, adults, and seniors. This is an easy-to-use workbook. With just a few minutes each day, you can become stronger and feel better. You can use this workbook over and over through various areas and stages of your life. Life isn't easy. When times get tough, we need to dig deep and utilize our emotional strength. Emotional Strength Explained from author Alicia Puzzany. Available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon and the author's website, aliciapuzzany.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, this is just a strange time, a strange week, a strange day, a strange week coming up. You know, and Kathy, you just tweeted this article on my Twitter. Zelensky, that's the president of Ukraine. Zelensky says Ukraine will be attacked by Russia on Wednesday
at 4:30 p.m.
Yeah, and he made the announcement on Facebook. You know,
I was just kidding about the time, by the way.
Yeah, the time.
I've never heard of a war where they actually knew when they were going to invade, and
yeah,
it almost seems scripted.
It's so strange. I want to read his statement, which I've not read.
Almost seems staged.
Yeah, I'm going to read Zelensky's statement cold. I haven't read it, but
it's a gentleman's war. They let you know when they're coming.
So we've got foreign leaders saying, "Okay, we're going to attack on Wednesday." They go on Facebook, let everybody know. And then people like the Facebook post. And this is just
so absurd.
So strange.
Yes.
And I don't care what anyone says. I do about Zelensky, Ukraine, and Russia. I'm Switzerland when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. I don't trust this Zelensky guy, okay? He was I know he defended Trump after that phone call that got Trump impeached, you know, that Vindman call, but he still was involved in the phone call that got Trump impeached. And
all roads lead to Ukraine.
And then he's got this Facebook post. Well, Ukraine will be attacked by the Russia on Wednesday. He just seems very. And he was an actor, a lame comedian.
He's an actor.
Well, I don't know if I don't speak Ukrainian, but I've seen on YouTube some of his acting, and he was on a TV show when he announced he was running for president.
Yeah.
And in the TV show, he played the president of Ukraine. So it's basically like having Martin Sheen or anyone else who played Robert Devane played President Kennedy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I wouldn't mind Robert Devane. He'd be all right.
He would be good.
Yeah. But anyway, let me read his statement. This is just weird. The president of Ukraine, Zelensky, says that Russia will launch an attack on his country Wednesday. Zelensky made the announcement on Facebook. Great people of a great country. Oh, there he is, all ethnocentric. Where's all the politically correct people? What do you mean your country's great? Your people are great. You know. There have been serious external and internal challenges in front of our country which require responsibility, confidence, and concrete actions for me and each of us. This just doesn't seem like a real war. This just seems like wag the dog, just some fake thing to get us off the Durham Report, something. It's just bizarre. We are intimidated by a great war and once again set the date of military invasion. This is not the first time, but our state is stronger today than ever. This is Zelensky's statement on Facebook. We strive for peace and want to solve all issues exclusively through negotiations. And Donbass and Crimea will return to Ukraine, only in the diplomatic way. We don't stare at someone else's, but we won't give our own. A lot of this is lost in translation, and it just makes no sense. We have an amazing army. Our boys have unique combat experience and modern weapons. Oh, they don't have girls in their army? It's just boys? This is Where I would think the liberals would be very upset if they don't have women in their armed forces.
You know what I've realized? That America is the only country that's like super woke. You know,
everybody.
It really, because I'll tell you later. But I was watching a show from Australia the other day. They're not woke down there at all. And I'm studying Spanish right now, and I was thinking last night, what are they doing in these countries where they attach a gender to a word?
Oh, my
They do
goodness.
it in France,
They can't speak,
Italy, all the Spanish speaking. The words have genders. So what do they do if you?
Well, we have genders in some of ours, but But anyway, let me get back. This is Zelensky
Not
on
really,
Facebook. We are told that this is the president of Ukraine on Facebook. We are told that February 16th will be the day of attack. We will make it a union day. The decree has already been signed. I don't know what a union day is. A union of country. I don't know.
Who knows?
This afternoon, we will hang national flags, put on blue, yellow ribbons, and show the world our unity. We have one great European aspiration. We want freedom and are ready to vote for it. 14,000 defenders and civilians who died in this war are watching us from the sky, and we will not betray their memory. We all want to live happily, and happiness loves the strong. We have never been able to give up, and we are not going to learn that. See, a lot of this is lost in translation. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I think it's being vague on purpose.
Maybe. Some of the sentence structures.
Yeah.
Love Ukraine. We are at peace. We are strong. We are together.
Sounds like Obama.
So, maybe, he's right, same speechwriter. So Wednesday we're being attacked, and then mark it on your calendars, people.
It'll last about a week, and Ukraine will go over to Russia, and this is all seems a little scripted and staged to me.
This is just
like they're all in on it.
This just is so. I've never heard about this. Now, if Russia is telling everyone they're going to attack on Wednesday, doesn't it make sense they would attack like on Tuesday? You know what I mean?
I mean, look at the great lengths that they went to hide the Normandy attack.
Yeah, the Overlord.
I mean,
operation.
When they attacked in World War II. People died to protect that secret. It was like Princess Leia with the rebellion all died to protect the plans for the Death Star.
Well, yeah.
They don't do that anymore. Now they have a date, a time, a place. Be there or be square.
And a Facebook post. And, with
bizarre.
With Normandy, some of the links they went to hide everything about it.
Oh, yeah.
They had, in England, they sent Patton to England, and Patton was put in command of this fake army of tanks and planes that was just balloons that were on the ground made out of wood.
Great lengths to hide that.
Yeah, they took dead bodies and dressed them up in army uniforms and dumped them in the ocean with fake plans and orders and
nuts.
And now this is just out there, to sit by your TV. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's. I mean, I don't know, but it seems like it's like staged between Biden, the Ukrainian guy, and Putin. Like they've all concocted this.
He's gotten paid, like he's got a big Swiss bank account, a lot of money in it now.
Like he's going to hand the country over to him, but they got to make it look like he's making an effort to protect it. I don't know. I could be wrong. It just seems really odd to me.
It does seem so strange.
Well, I want to shift gears and talk about this Clinton thing because I'm just reading this article. This is crazy, and I'm figuring out exactly what Hillary Clinton was up to. This is an article about her old tweets from 2016. And Hillary's plan with Russia was she lost the election. And if anybody thought that she was just going to take that quietly, they don't know Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Her whole goal was to put out this fake narrative that Trump was working with Russia. For some reason, she concocted this in her head to malign him, and the media just ate it up. She would tweet things. She would put on it. She was probably feeding them a lot of information through other people, and they never bothered to look into it, or they just hated Trump, so they went with it. So it says here, unearthed Hillary Clinton tweets from days before the 2016 presidential election show the candidate pushing now debunked information that Donald Trump was using covert server, linking him to Russia. Just a day after Fox News first reported that special counsel John Durham alleged that lawyers from her campaign had paid to infiltrate servers belonging to the Trump Tower and later the White House in order to establish an inference and narrative to bring to government agencies linking Trump to Russia. Clinton, in October of 2016, so this is a month before the election, tweeted this. Computer scientists have apparently uncovered a covert server linking the Trump organization to a Russian-based bank, and shared a statement from her campaign's senior policy advisor, Jake Sullivan, who now serves.
Now, stop right there. This is
in October, the month before the election.
That specific thing is what was in the Durham filing on Friday, that the Clinton lawyer that was using this technology company to hack the White House West Wing Oval Office computers, that fake bank information connection is one of the things that they pulled out of that.
This is very...
So her tweets are indicting or connecting her, to this Durham charge.
That's right. And she used Twitter to put out false information because she knew that the media would take her tweets and report it as news.
That's right.
Okay, then she continues.
So what Hillary Clinton and her tweets, these tweets come back to haunt people.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton's tweets are putting her at the scene of the crime with this Durham filing about the spying on the Trump White House computers.
Now, her campaign senior policy advisor, Jake Sullivan, now works for Biden on the national security. He's a national security advisor. Can you imagine? Yeah. So he tweeted this. He responded to her tweet. This could be the most direct link yet between Donald Trump and Moscow, Sullivan said in the October 26 statement. Computer scientists have uncovered a covert server linking Trump organization to all fake. They not only, it's like they planted evidence and then they went out there and advertised that this evidence was there. I mean, this is so criminal. Then it continues. This line of communication may help explain Trump's bizarre adoration of Putin and endorsement of so many pro-Kremlin positions throughout his campaign. It raises even more troubling questions in light of Russia's masterminding of hacking efforts that are clearly intended to hurt Hillary's campaign. This is a sick woman. She's twisted everything. In her mind, she had to rationalize her losing. And she created this whole narrative out of it. It was complete fiction. Not only did she create the narrative, but it's like she's put it out to the media. She lied about evidence that they didn't have. And then she tweets later that day, Clinton tweeted an image that states that Trump had a secret server to communicate privately with a Putin Russian bank called Alpha Bank. This is all made up stuff. This was all stuff she was tweeting right before the election. She was tweeting this stuff to malign him and try to get him to lose or something. So this narrative even went before the election even happened, when she started all this to try to malign. This is how the Clintons operate. Yeah. They can't win on their own. She must have been getting nervous because, remember, she fell down on camera. She had a few bad moments in and he was catching up to her in the polls and all this stuff. So she created this whole fake lie, this huge, that's the big lie. And the media, she would tweet it out there and the media would just take it and run with it. They never looked into it. They never investigated it. It came from Hillary Clinton. That's all they needed to know.
Okay, so
these are sick people.
I've been talking about this for the last couple of days. If you follow me on all the many different venues and I don't even know mediums that I'm on because I'm on so many. On Friday, a Durham Report came out, and an attorney who was hired and paid for by Hillary Clinton campaign has been charged with some pretty serious crimes. And one of the things that came out of that is that after Trump was sworn into office and was the president of the United States, that the spy operation continued not only on Trump Tower, but inside White House servers. And what the Clinton lawyer did was he was working with a technology company that had a contract with the government to do some type of work on the White House computers. They used that access, the Hillary Clinton campaign. This is when Trump was president, to do we don't know what. But they came out of that with this Russian bank connection to Trump, which was totally manufactured. Durham said was false. So at least 2 or 3 of the things you just mentioned in the Hillary Clinton tweets are part of the Durham charges against this attorney of manufactured evidence. So it shows that Hillary Clinton not only knew what was going on, she was a party to it. And
there's receipts and receipts of payments.
Yeah, and she's put herself at the scene of the crime. And let me tell you this, okay? During the Bill Clinton presidential campaign for his first run for office in 1992, and when he was president, but it started when he was still governor and he was a campaign, is when the women started coming forward. And remember, it was called the bimbo eruption. The bimbo eruption was a term that was coined by James Carville and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton worked one-on-one with James Carville. They also later brought in George Stephanopoulos. And what their job was to spread misinformation about the women who were making allegations on Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
So this story, and she was the head of that organization. And what Hillary Clinton is doing on Twitter here not only puts herself at the scene of these crimes against President Trump.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It comes from her Twitter account.
It's the same. It's using Twitter, which didn't exist back in 92 and 93, but it's the same tactic and style and signature of when she was smearing the victims of Bill Clinton, of her husband, that she was doing on Trump. Because, criminals have a pattern. They do the same thing.
Now, is this report the whole report going to be made public, like in book form?
No, because it's not one thing. This guy is going to trial. And they're investigating other people. There'll be other trials. They're not releasing one big report. They're arresting and charging people with crimes, and these people are facing treason charges.
Well, I put the article on Twitter and Facebook. It's extremely detailed, and it really gives a lot of information of what happened, what went down.
Yeah.
It's very convoluted, and I really hope someday they put all this information in a book.
Oh, they will.
Explaining everything.
When it's all done.
Yeah, to people, letting them know, because it's crazy what happens. And I don't understand the media's love affair with the Clintons and Hillary Clinton. She lies to them. She uses them to push her sick fantasies. And then when it comes out that all this is true, that Trump's vindicated, they don't say a word. They don't say a word. They don't apologize. They don't say we lied, we were wrong, we were misled. Nothing.
There is, and I'll throw this out to you guys in the comments. If you can think of one, leave a comment. I cannot think. This is a terrible question for me to ask for comments on, because there's no answer to this. Mm-hmm. But this love affair that the left and the media, the Ready for Hillary crowd, have with Hillary.
I don't get it.
We've known Mrs. Clinton since 92, maybe 91, nationally, when her husband started running for president. I can't think of one redeeming moment in all these years that she's been in public life about her. She does not have a single redeeming quality or positive moment.
What did she think would happen with this? Did she think that Trump would quit? Did she think that where did she think this would enter? I don't think she thought it fully through. To be honest, I think she was
this
crazy
is what they thought.
With becoming president. I don't think she thought the whole thing through. I think she just reacted. It was her knee-jerk reaction.
There's two phases. There's the pre-election and the campaign phase when they were spying on Trump Tower. Then the new thing that we learned on Friday, which no one knew about, is that they continue the spy operation when he was president on the White House computers. But
I'm sure Obama was in
the first. This is what they thought in the first round before the election of President Trump. They're all crooks and scummy people. They think that all wealthy, successful people are scummy like them, and if they did enough spying, they would find something so horrible.
But where did this narrative come from that he was involved in Russia? Why that?
Because they're involved in
a
circle of Trump hate, and they think and they get wrapped up in their things. They think that everyone who's rich and successful gets that money through corruption, like Biden in Ukraine and things like this. So they figured that if they spied on him enough, they would find something that would either be so embarrassing or criminal to him that he would drop out, or they would leak it and it would turn the public against him. That's why they were doing that.
Well, I have a different take on it. I don't think that's the motivation behind it. I think that Hillary had to. I think she has a lot of personality issues and disorders, and I think she had to rationalize in her mind her sinking poll numbers and her loss. And she concocted this entire fabricated story in her mind to justify her loss. And I think to her it was real. She convinced herself. I think it was such a shock to her system that she was losing to this guy, and that she eventually lost. Because all this kind of started like a couple months before the election. I think she set the stage. She created this narrative in her mind, convinced herself it was true, and ran with it. I don't think she thought of the end game. I think she really convinced herself this was really happening because I think that's how sick she is. I don't think she was thinking as clearly as you're making it out. I don't think she was as clear and as calculated. I think she convinced herself that he had this relationship with Russia because it helped to justify in her mind why she lost. Yeah. She had to explain that to herself. Well, he's got to be involved with Russia. They're out to get me. Yeah. And I think she ran with it.
Paranoid.
And the media went with it. And to her, it was real.
Yeah.
It was real.
Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will be right back after this.
The search for the most dangerous book in the world is about to begin. From authors Wayne E. Haley and Sean P. Haley comes An Apology to Lucifer, now available for sale at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Apple Books, and on the book's official website, anapologytolucifer.com. In An Apology to Lucifer, Father Thomas Morelli thought he knew the story behind Lucifer's fall from heaven. However, upon making the acquaintance of renowned book authenticator Lorenzo Pellegrini and being invited to stay in the opulent Venice villa belonging to Pellegrini's master, Thomas discovers he has only heard part of the story. In Boston, psychoanalyst, best-selling author, and outspoken atheist David Wright has been tasked to handle the funeral arrangements of his dear friend, Albert Kennedy. What could have driven this controversial exorcist to take his own life? The answer, it seems, is contained in a book that isn't supposed to exist. Joining forces, Lorenza, David, and Thomas must race against time to prevent an ancient battle from reigniting. If you enjoyed The Da Vinci Code, you will love this book, An Apology to Lucifer. The most anticipated supernatural thriller of 2022 is now available at barnesandnoble.com, Amazon, Apple Books, and on the book's official website, anapologytolucifer.com. Order your copy right now. If you're looking for your dream home in the Los Angeles area, you need to contact Giuseppe Tallarico. He's LA's realtor, and he will take care of your real estate needs. Giuseppe gives every client personalized attention for home buying, selling, and investment properties. He will craft an innovative marketing strategy specifically to your needs. And he does it all, too. Professional photos, comparative market analysis, buyer's consultations, open houses, contract writing, and negotiations. He has a detailed expertise in all the Los Angeles neighborhoods, with access to the resources and global network of Keller Williams Beverly Hills. And Giuseppe will give you support through the closing and beyond. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, contact Giuseppe Tallarico, making your dream home a reality. Find him on Instagram at g.t.estates. That's g.t.estates on Instagram, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Giuseppe Tallarico Estates. For Giuseppe Tallarico, LA's realtor. From author Michelle dos Santos comes a book that readers have compared to Harry Potter, The Flying Feather, available online at themagicbeanemporium.com. The Flying Feather is a magical novella. It's easy to read for the young and old alike. The Flying Feather prequel is where it all starts. The first installment of this exciting series is about an ordinary boy that receives a rather unusual gift from his grandfather on his 13th birthday. When his grandfather George gives him a feather, he doesn't tell him right away what he has. In fact, inherited. Tommy soon discovers that the old pen is a family heirloom with magical properties. Tommy then has to suspend his disbelief and learn to believe. Author Michelle dos Santos is a writer who recently started offering copies of her book in her coffee shop, The Magic Bean Emporium. The Flying Feather has been gaining popularity, so now she's looking for a literary agent interested in the next big thing. Her fantastic book, The Flying Feather, from author Michelle dos Santos. Order your copy right now online at themagicbeanemporium.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, so this is in the Daily Mail. It's being reported in many other places as well. Trump ex-director of national intelligence, that's John Ratcliffe. He says, they say claims, but he knows.
I think it's clear who's lying and who's not at this point.
Yeah, ex-director of national intelligence for President Trump, John Radcliffe, claims Biden and Obama knew about Hillary campaign plot to hack Trump servers, enough evidence in Durham's Russian probe to indict multiple people. John Radcliffe told special counsel John Durham, now keep in mind, John Radcliffe told him, you know, in the course of an investigation, so he has to tell all the truth or that's a crime, right? So he told this under the penalty of being charged with lying to federal officers, right? John Radcliffe told special counsel John Durham that there was enough evidence to indict multiple people connected to the origins of the Trump-Russia probe. The former director of national intelligence met with Durham more than once. Radcliffe pointed Durham to a declassified CIA memo of Clinton approving looking into Trump's Russia ties as a way of distracting from her email scandal.
Oh,
the report was sent,
yes, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
the report was sent directly. See, everything Hillary does is some criminal scheme.
Yeah, I forgot about that scandal. So she created this as a false narrative to detract
because she was committing crimes, and with that,
yeah, that makes sense.
The report was sent directly to then FBI Director James Comey, then Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok. Peter Strzok's name comes up in all this stuff, doesn't it? New bombshell reports now reveal Clinton paid people to hack servers at Trump Tower during the 2016 campaign and White House servers following the election. That's espionage on the White House
Absolutely.
server. A poll taken before those reports came out showed that now even Democrats want Clinton questioned over her role in the Russian secret server scandal. 44% of Democrat Party loyalists believe Hillary should be interrogated. That was in October.
Absolutely.
But the number in January jumped to 66% of Democrats want her interrogated. Was the term that was used. So everyone knows that Hillary did it.
I am waiting for people in the news, including 60 Minutes, to come out and apologize to President Trump.
So it's really coming apart for them. And I'll tell you what's going to start happening now. You know, this Durham, John Durham, you guys have heard me talk about this a lot.
He does exist, Brian, apparently.
I was like done with Durham because it had been so long, and even now, no press conferences. You never see this guy, and now he drops this huge indictment on this Clinton lawyer. And right now, what we're going to start to see are a lot of scared people that are facing serious time because they went to this extra step of spying and breaking into the White House servers when Trump was president, which is a whole level of crime. This is like Matthew Broderick War Games level crime when you know what I mean? And if they're doing something like that, think about the national security breach that is. You know, like one of the groups this is who was working on it, an unnamed tech company with a government contract with access to the White House computers and the West Wing in the Oval Office. This law firm that was hired by Clinton, they were working with some university somewhere, having them analyze this. And who knows? You've got who knows who that is?
It shows you the power of Hillary Clinton, that she could get so many people involved in this scheme. It's
liberal
incredible.
hate mongers.
The big question of the day, though, is, Brian, nobody gives a crap about these other guys. What's going to happen to her? That's what people want to know. What's going to happen to Hillary Clinton? Because she is the one who directed this. She was the mastermind. She was the one who made this all happen. And I agree, it was to distract from her scandal, but I also think she did it because she convinced herself and she was nuts. But probably a combination of both.
Well, you know, here's the thing. Again, this
she got a lot of people to play along with her.
This latest story from Durham, these latest charges.
Yeah.
This is the first time I have ever thought that Hillary Clinton could face criminal charges.
I agree.
See, when
she's in trouble.
Spying on the Oval Office computers from the outside like this, that's like the Rosenbergs with the A-bomb plans. And I don't need people to tell me that they really didn't do it. I know I know that in the Lindbergh baby. Who knows? But I just, you know what I mean? That's when they took the plans for the atom bomb and gave it to the Soviet. You know, this is at that level. This is the largest security breach, and it was done by domestic spies. You know, and there have been spies like Jonathan Pollard and Aldrich James and some other FBI guys over the years that were arrested for like selling secrets to either Israel or Russia or someone. And those were major takedown stories. This story is bigger than all of those put together, except the A-bomb.
I'd like to know from you guys, people in your life that are against Trump, what are they saying about this?
Well, they don't know about it because they watch CNN and MSNBC.
No, but they've got to be hearing about it. It's all over Twitter. It's all over social media. People are talking about it. If you tell them it's happening, or if they read about it somewhere, what do they say about it? Do they say, you know what, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. And man, I'm got to rethink this.
Yeah.
Or do they just ignore you? Or do they just like the news brush it under the carpet? Oh, well, it's amazing to me, because the media, these people have no soul. It's amazing to me how they can find this out now, as opposed to the Mueller investigation, which came up with nothing. They actually find evidence of this happening. A former first lady, a presidential candidate, spying, and putting out false narratives, accusing a sitting president of colluding with another. I mean, this is crazy stuff. And now we find out she orchestrated this whole thing. She was behind it. She paid people. People were spying on Trump, all this stuff. Everything he said was true. They called him crazy. They mocked him. They laughed at him. They mocked us, laughed at us, all this stuff. Well, now we're all vindicated. And what are they going to do about it? What are they going to do about it? So people in your life that are liberal, that hate Trump, if you have any, what do they say to you about this revelation? Are they ignoring it, or are they just acting like it's no big? I mean, this is a big deal. This is a very big deal.
Head in the sand. Okay, now
head in the sand is
this
right.
story broke over the weekend. None of the Sunday shows, Face the Nation, CNN, ABC, Meet the Press,
they're all ignoring it.
None of them even mention it.
Wow.
And Meet the Press was preempted by the Olympics, but they wouldn't have mentioned it either. And I noticed one thing I'm seeing on social media: a bunch of fake conservatives pretending to be conservatives saying, "Oh no, this was known in June. This was known in October. This is not new." No, this business about
like it's nothing, no big deal.
This business about the lawyer working with a tech executive and a university to use their authorized access, this tech company, to the Oval Office computers, that's all new. That is all brand new. That is brand new. No one had even speculated on something. We all knew about Trump Tower being spied on. And then there's this third place. It was Trump Tower, the executive office servers, and then an unnamed pharmaceutical company. So were they trying to get some prescription information on Trump or something? I don't know what that was about.
Well, it's crazy, and this is something they won't be able to ignore forever, because it is going to keep getting worse and worse for her. And, I just had a crazy thought when you were talking about Bill Clinton running for president or being president. This is a crazy idea. What if the Clintons put Ross Perot up to running? What if he was really a liberal and they put him up to running to help Clinton win? Would you be totally shocked?
Yeah.
I'm serious. That's the kind of stuff they would do to split George Bush's vote. I mean, Ross Perot kind of came out of nowhere. And I'm serious. I could see the Democratic Party and the Clintons coming up with that scheme to get him to run, because without Ross Perot, George Bush would have beaten Clinton. He needed Ross Perot to split that vote. And this is how the Clintons think. This is how they are political machines. They are political machines. And maybe nothing will happen to Hillary. Who knows? But
I think something will. This is, Kathy,
hold on. Let me say this.
This is really big.
It is
Something's
big.
going to happen.
Something will happen. But I'll tell you this. This, I think, will keep her from running.
Oh, yes.
Because she is not going to be able to face Trump in a debate with this kind of information. No way.
No.
He will hammer this like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
And she's so tainted at this point. He will not let this go. And can you really see her having the guts to face him in debates when he knows that this really happened and there's proof? I can't see her facing him. I mean, she couldn't even come out and give her concession speech when she lost. I can't see her facing this kind of heat.
It's pretty bad.
It's really bad. I think she's going to this is it. I think she's going to run after this.
Let me tell you, I do not.
Too big of a problem for her.
I do not hype these things up. This is the biggest spy operation in the history of our country. And
it's pretty bad.
The mainstream media have a blackout on this story, but they're not
They're not going
to be able to covered up for long. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program as we have entered the 10th year of the Brian Craig Show podcast this year. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon supporters. And if you would like to support the show by becoming a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this and every episode. And there are great perks to becoming a Patreon supporter. They are listed on our Patreon page, including commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you. So the names you are about to hear are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Jacqueline, Rick, Rich, and Nick. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support. And again, there's a link to our Patreon page in the episode description, whether you're listening on YouTube or one of the podcast platforms. There's also a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Back right after this.
From author Davinder Kaur comes your next must-read book, Forced to Marry Him, A Lifetime of Tradition and the Will to Break It. Available on Amazon. In the late 1980s, Davinder Kaur was forced to marry a man she didn't know. But when she was only 14 years old, the marriage was arranged and set to occur when she turned 18. After 4 long years of internal turmoil and despair, she had 2 choices: adhere to the customs and traditions of her family or risk bringing dishonor to their home. Davinder didn't like either option, so she made a plan to survive. In the book, Forced to Marry Him, the author tells of the pain, lies, and betrayal she suffered at the hands of those who were meant to protect her most. But her story doesn't end there. Davinder's willingness to speak out and fight not only saved her life, but the lives of many other women and young girls over the years. She offers courage and strength to those who can't advocate for themselves, and she works with organizations all over the world to help end arranged and forced marriages. The author gives a voice to the voiceless as she breaks down walls to eradicate cultural and traditional abuse. This book is perfect for book clubs. Forced to Marry Him, A Lifetime of Tradition and the Will to Break It, from author Davinder Kaur. Available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon. You can also find the author on Twitter and Instagram at LUCHANIK or visit her website LUCHANIK.com. Making friends is so important to little kids. It helps them develop healthy and important social skills at an early age. The book from retired preschool teacher and author Cindy Van Order, Coco Bear Makes a Friend. Available on Amazon. Follows the lovable 3-year-old bear on his quest to find a friend to play with. Join Coco Bear and his new, very colorful friend, Flutterby, as they take on exciting adventures together, with Mama Bear's permission, of course. Who knows what fun things they will discover. This is author Cindy Van Order's first book in her children's series, The Adventures of Coco Bear and Flutterby, and is filled with adorable illustrations by her stepdaughter Annie. This book is perfect for children 2 to 5 years old, at home or for classroom reading. Coco Bear Makes a Friend, from author and retired preschool teacher Cindy Van Order. Available on Amazon. Order your copy right now. I love my MyPillow towels. Unlike other towels, the MyPillow towel absorbs. They're soft to the touch. They come with a 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee. Mike Lindell says towels that actually work. What a concept. But don't just take my word for it. Christine from Pennsylvania called live on the radio and shared her experience with her MyPillow towels.
I was just going to say, I bought the MyPillow, my towels, a couple weeks ago, and they are fabulous. They are the best towels I've ever used. They're just the right amount of thickness. They're not too thin, they're not too thick, and they're a great length. They're like longer than your average towel, and they are fabulous, luxurious.
You know, what's amazing to me about the MyPillow towels, Mike Lindell's a genius with his inventions. It absorbs the water, and the towel's not soaking wet after.
Yes, exactly.
You know, other towels, the water just kind of lays on top of them. They don't absorb it, and you're just smothering water, smearing it around on your body. Now with the MyPillow towels, what color did you get?
I got the sage green.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
I'm going to order more because I love purple, and I'm going to have to get a purple.
Man, my wife's ordering the purple, too, and she says it doesn't match our bathrooms, but she likes the purple anyway, so we're getting purple.
Who cares?
Exactly. Exactly. All right, Christine, thank you so much. The MyPillow towels are normally $109.99, but with our promo code at checkout, Kane, Kane, just $39.99. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on. All right, I just got a fundraising email from Steve Scalise, who is definitely a voice of credibility. He was shot by that Bernie Sanders
I'd like
supporter.
to see him as Trump's VP.
Oh, I love Steve Scalise.
He's in my top 5 list for sure.
Let me tell you, if anyone's opinion should be listened to,
Yeah.
it's that of Steve Scalise. Listen to this. It says here, this is a fundraising email. I'm on all these lists. I'm not a donor. Okay. Breaking. It's official. They spied on Trump. Stop everything. Read this, Patriot. Breaking. From John Durham, the Clinton campaign paid operatives to spy, and they capitalized SPY, on President Donald J. Trump. Stand with Trump. John Durham just dropped the hammer. Hammer's all capitalized too. Hillary Clinton's campaign bankrolled a shady tech firm to infiltrate Trump Tower and the White House to fuel their Russia hoax. Trump is right. This is bigger than Watergate. We'll cut to the chase. This is the biggest political scandal in American history, and the consequences must be swift and overwhelming. We've just activated the first 500% contribution match this year. I don't know what that means. Okay, for every American patriot who helps us expose this groundbreaking scandal and punish everyone involved. Well, we're sharing it. Do I get a $500 match? The Liberty Media and Hillary, the Liberty Media. I saw the L and the I and the B. I got excited. This is the opposite of Liberty. The liberal media and Hillary's cronies are scrambling to sweep this under the rug. We have to move right now. Stand with Trump. All contributions will be immediately matched. 500%. Respond right now to make this the biggest impact possible. Time is of the essence. John Durham just exposed the truth about Hillary Clinton's campaign. They spied on the President of the United States. Now they want to cover it up. You're not going to let them, are you? Respond right here. For America, Durham Report alerts from the American Whip, paid for by Team Scalise. And remember, Scalise was shot by that liberal Bernie Sanders supporter, so he's a voice of credibility. See, this is so big. This is proof now. See, before it was just, we knew, but now we have evidence.
Well, let's see what the media does with it. My prediction is they're going to ignore it as long as possible. And some people theorize that this whole war nonsense is to distract, it's a wag the dog moment, to distract from the real scandal. And that's what one thing you can count on with liberals is they don't change. Yeah. They're the same. They're the same, 200 years ago as they are today. They're the same as when they owned slaves as what they are right now. Lying, conniving, scheming scumbags. And the media is in bed with them. They do their bidding, and that's not going to change. They're not going to have their come to Jesus moment because they don't believe in Jesus. No. So don't expect it to happen because it's not. They're scum, they're vile, and this is, they're like career criminals. This is how they think. This is how they are. They're not going to change. Maybe a few people might come to the realization, holy crap, I got to get off this crazy train. But most of them will plow through. They'll ignore the truth, and they'll continue to attack Trump. No matter what, they'll make up more lies. This lie didn't stick. Okay, let's make up another one. I mean, this is how they think. Well, Hillary Clinton has built her whole career on scheming and conniving and lying. It's not going to stop.
So they're getting really pathetic in the media. They won't cover this. No. So they're coming up with these bizarre stories on Trump. And I got two audio clips about this.
The flushing down the toilet.
That's the second one.
Yeah, that's pretty
We'll get
lame.
to that one in a second. Lame. Now, this first one, they came out with this ridiculous story that I saw this morning, and they discussed it on MSNBC, so I want to play the audio from MSNBC. They said that when the Stormy Daniels story broke, Trump called Melania, She wouldn't take his call, so he borrowed the cell phone of a Secret Service agent and called her, and she answered that phone.
Whatever. Let me ask you, do they have script writers that sit in a room and just come up with these fake stories?
Very bad ones.
I'm serious.
If President Trump wanted to talk to Melania, he would just walk upstairs to the residence.
Total
and
fabrication.
So anyway, this is what they're talking about, him using the Secret Service phone line, President Trump. This is MSNBC over the weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
What Trump would do is that he would use his phone and other people's phones to make calls.
You had said it's unusual to borrow cell phones from other people, but it's not unusual if you're a mobster. And because you do it because it makes things tough to trace. And that's what it looks like is going on here. Indeed, Trump really did operate in this, this is of a piece with other stories in which he ran the presidency like a mob boss.
And it makes complete sense why the January 6th committee is now using tactics normally reserved for mobsters and terrorists.
Okay. Terrorists. Oh, wait a second. I didn't catch that. Let me go back. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that part.
Other stories in which he ran the presidency like a mob boss.
And it makes complete sense why the January 6th committee is now using tactics normally reserved for mobsters and terrorists.
Okay, so Trump's a terrorist and a mobster.
They totally,
He's a businessman terrorist.
I'd really like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'd really like to try to understand the liberal brain, but then it's too scary to even think about that. I really think they lie to themselves. They rationalize everything and they convince themselves of what is reality. They have an alternate reality they live in. It's like Bizarro World. That's where they live. And like I said, they're going to try to ignore this Hillary scandal because in their mind, there is no scandal. They convince themselves that she did nothing wrong. And the real enemy is Trump, and they have to keep going after him. But look at what's happening in the world, okay? The people are fed up, not just here, but in Canada. Soon you're going to see people protesting in South America. Wouldn't that be something? Over things going on in their country. This MAGA movement is filtering into other countries now. And it's not about Trump. It's the movement of freedom. It's the movement of, you work for us. We don't work for you. It's the elites versus the regular people. And Trump started this going. He started this going, and he got this. If Trump had never won and say, God help us, Hillary had won, none of this would be happening.
Yeah.
None of this would be happening.
Oh, my goodness.
He ignited this flame among people
but you know what?
allowed
it's a
people
thing.
to say, it is a good thing. Absolutely.
Because we're able to see what they're really like. So then
he's shown a light on that. They really shone the light on themselves because they really came to the surface.
Yeah.
With their hatred and they're out of control with their with their rules and things like this.
So what's coming up now are false flags and fake story fiesta time here. So here's the other one.
Yeah.
This came out the other day, but this is all about trying to distract from the Durham Report. This is pathetic. This is the one about Trump was flushing the articles down the toilet.
This is my favorite.
Trump would read. He would sit on the toilet. This actually was reported last week. While Trump was sitting on the presidential toilet reading the news. Right.
This is really
pathetic. Yeah. And by the way, everybody reads news now on like electronic devices, but he's reading newspapers and magazines. The only man left that does this. And when he would sit on the presidential toilet and read a story that he didn't like, he would flush it down the toilet and stop up the first toilet. So President Trump was on Fox News over the weekend on a live interview.
Yeah, this was good.
And they asked him about the flushing toilet story, and he commented on this. President Trump.
There's a national conversation that seems to be completely out of touch with the American people at every step of the way. And I think one of those examples might be the latest obsession, President Trump, which is again and always seemingly about you. Maggie Haberman of the New York Times has a book out. She's been discussing it on CNN and other platforms. And the big takeaway is that you have ripped up papers and flushed them down the toilet. What is your reaction to what you're hearing on other mainstream media channels in this book by Maggie Haberman?
Yeah, it's fake news, and she's a fake writer. She got a Pulitzer Prize for Russia, and then they found out it was a hoax. And so did others. Frankly, the ones that get Pulitzer Prizes, they happen to work around you and around Pete. And I will tell you, it's a disgrace. But no, it's a totally false story. She made it up. I don't believe they have sources. Who's going to be a source for that anyway? Who would know that?
Exactly. Let me go back. I talked over the president there. He's
shame on you.
Yeah, listen.
But no, it's a totally false story. She made it up. I don't believe they have sources. Who's going to be a source for that anyway? Who would know that?
Who would know about it when he's flushing down the toilet?
Well,
what's the source for
back
that
in
story?
Back in Henry VIII's time, they had a minister of the John, or what was it called, Brian? They had the royal toilet guy. They had a guy that literally, I'm not kidding, that was like Henry VIII's toilet man.
Yeah.
And he was apparently his most trusted person because it was a very intimate job and it was a coveted job. So maybe Trump has a private toilet man.
I guess.
With him into the toilet.
I guess. I don't know.
And leak this to the press that he saw this. Because you're right. Who would know this? Who would go in? I mean, what do they really think? This is just crazy. Picture it. Trump going into
I don't need to picture the toilet.
No, but I'm saying walking into the bathroom with stacks of papers.
Which nobody uses anymore.
Exactly. Under his arm and going in there with the door locked and shoving them down the toilet.
And they have a source.
Flushing. Like he said, who would be a source for this? Yeah. I thought that was a great answer. But it's interesting. The woman who wrote this book, I did not know this, won a Pulitzer Prize. Can you imagine, for her work on the Russia probe, which was completely fake? Her Pulitzer Prize should be removed and taken back. Total fake story.
The woman who wrote the story about Trump flushing things down the first toilet is a story who won a Pulitzer Prize for writing about crap.
Exactly.
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 And you know what? They should.
How serendipitous.
They should really take back some of these Pulitzer Prizes. Yeah, they really should.
I mean, because journalists don't investigate anything anymore. They use Twitter and other news sources for their information. You know what I mean? They don't go to the source. Yeah. They don't actually go and investigate and do the footwork and interview people. They just read it off Twitter or Hillary Clinton's Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
this
is information.
That's
I'm going to go with it. That's their source.
Now, of course, you guys all know that the great Mike Lindell and MyPillow are supporters of this program. They support all of my content, everything I do, including the Steve Kane Show. And
they love you guys.
Have for quite some time. And I know some of you know this, a lot of you may not. We began a relationship with Mike Lindell and MyPillow. It was an amazing thing. There was a Trump rally in Minnesota, and Trump gave the speech, and he said, "Look who's over there, the MyPillow guy."
Yeah.
He was on Fox all the time. And
I think that was the first time he was at a rally that Trump brought him up.
Yeah, it was the first time. And I tweeted something about that, and Mike Lindell followed me on Twitter.
Yep.
And he's not on Twitter anymore, but he started following me on Twitter. And Kathy sent Mike Lindell a DM and said, "Hey, would you like to advertise on the Brian Craig Show podcast and the Steve Kane radio show?"
It was really just kind of a shot in the dark.
And Kathy and I were away for a weekend at Disney World at a hotel. And Kathy was getting ready in the hotel room, and I went to the bar for a drink. And you said, "You know what? I'm going to DM Mike Lindell." I said, "Fine." So I'm sitting at the bar. 5 minutes later, Kathy calls me. She's like, "Mike Lindell just wrote me."
Yep.
He said, "Call him." So I called him.
It's true.
And they've been with us ever since. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and they love you guys. They're always writing Brian with updates and saying, "Wow, you guys have amazing listeners. They really support Mike, and they pay attention to all this stuff."
Yeah.
Believe me. They really appreciate it.
And Mike Lindell does appreciate everyone. And he is sending thousands of MyPillows to the Freedom Truckers in Canada.
That is amazing.
And I got a clip here. He talked about this on an interview over the weekend, and he's doing this covertly. It's happening this week. He's not saying when. And I'm imagining it's going to be an unmarked truck. It's not going to be a truck that says MyPillow with Mike Lindell on the side, because he knows that the Biden regime will stop it at the border.
It's so thoughtful because those people are probably sleeping in their trucks.
Oh.
While they're there camped out. So now they have nice, soft MyPillows. And, that's on his dime. I mean, this is a guy who walks the walk. How many people do that? How many people dip into their own cookie jar to actually put their money where their mouth is? Not many.
So let me play that. This is Mike Lindell, and he's talking about this covert pillow donate. Isn't that terrible? You got
the covert pillow operation.
You got to sneak pillows to people. The liberals.
I love it.
The liberals just don't want those truckers to have the best night's sleep they've ever had.
They don't, because they'll be well rested and they'll be able to last longer during the day and protest even longer.
So here's Mike Lindell talking about the pillow donations to the truckers.
Pillow, we're busy. All of our employees are busy making pillows right now for the truckers in Canada.
Love it.
We're going to try and get them through. I'm not going to say what day, or there'll be obstructionists. I know you guys are going to be there. Trust me.
He is hilarious.
What is wrong with these liberals that they're going to
lots of things?
They've got on the southern border. They have people walking across with sex slaves, and that's okay.
And drugs.
But if you're bringing pillows to people to have a night's sleep, they got like an all points bulletin out.
I know.
It's just insane.
They live in bizarro world.
Pillow, we're busy. All of our employees are busy making pillows right now for the truckers in Canada. We're going to try and get them through. I'm not going to say what day, or there'll be obstructionists. I know you guys are going to be there. Trust me. You will be there. I'll let you know. It's going to be great. I have a plant up in Canada. I have a factory up in Canada, but we can't make enough there because of what happened before. Remember when I was canceled in the United States, Canada companies canceled me too. Costco, the Canadian Shopping Channel. So our production went way down a year ago.
Gosh.
So this is all. I got a little problem with Trudeau. Let me tell you, more than this started with me way back. So, but we're going to get these what brave truckers, and it's going on around the world now. It's amazing. We're winning. Saskatchewan and I believe Alberta pulled back their mandates already. There's little victories now already.
Yeah,
So
it's
they're
happening.
pulling them back. We're winning. I encourage all the truckers, don't give up and say, okay, we'll compromise halfway. No, we want all our freedom.
Okay. Yeah,
they are
that's
pulling
amazing.
back the mandates too.
Yeah.
I heard that on the news.
Yeah.
They're starting to slowly. Now what's happening is the mayors of these areas are working with the truckers, and they're bypassing Trudeau because he just won't even acknowledge them, or he's a coward.
Now, if you use our promo code at checkout at mypillow.com, all right, Kane, Kane, you're supporting Mike Lindell, you're supporting the truckers, you're supporting this program when you use our promo code Kane.
Brian, you're supporting freedom.
Absolutely.
Is what you're supporting.
And right now at mypillow.com, with our promo code Kane, the MyPillow, the regular price is $69.98. That's what we paid for mine a few years ago.
Yeah.
And by the way, even though it's a few years old, it's like brand new. That's the regular price. With our promo code Kane, Kane, the lowest price ever on the MyPillow, just $19.98. This is the lowest price ever with the promo code Kane at checkout. And all the other specials you see at mypillow.com, you can take advantage of with our promo code too, Kane. All right, guys, we're out of time for today. This is the beginning of an exciting week with this Durham release and charges. So the
pendulum is swinging.
Oh, yeah, this is the beginning of a great time.
Love it.
I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we will talk to you next time.
There's a podcast that you will want to add to your playlist, Warriors for Christ. That's the number 4. Warriors for Christ is a Christian podcast providing biblical teaching without the doctrines of man. In other words, they like to let the Bible explain itself. The format includes non-denominational readings and teachings from the Bible. They also have interviews and whatever the Lord puts on their hearts to present. Life in this world can be very stressful and filled with anxieties. Warriors for Christ will give you the biblical information you need to help deal with all life has to bring. Warriors for Christ confronts many false doctrines which are pervasive in this age and what some call the church in a box. And they also offer a full gospel ministry. Find Warriors for Christ on Podomatic, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Player FM, Stitcher, Deezer, Amazon Podcast, and Spotify. Warriors for Christ. Share the podcast on all of your social media so your friends can listen to Warriors for Christ. That's the number 4. Add it to your playlist right now.